So I know coming here is not easy. Especially if you are under close observance from a teacher. That is difficult. There's hardly any day where I don't scold you for doing wrong. Try to sit properly. It's much easier when you're in Bantat. And I just see you twice or 3 times a week and just give a short talk. And that's the end. And you don't see and don't hear anything of me. So if you think you can't bear it anymore, I really understand it. Well, then just go back to Bantat. And we are just here 2 weeks, and the pressure will build up. Just think about, staying with me 2 months, or even more than that. All the pressure will build up. Constantly being scolded, not doing this right, not doing that right, not having the right attitude, not doing this properly or doing that properly. It will get on our nerves. So I'm really understanding, and if you can't take it, I even don't mind if you go back. It's much easier staying in Bantat, you'll just practice and it's also not so heavy. It's not so heavy on you. Here we have to walk up every day. We have to walk up the hill. So it's physically straining and it's mentally straining. So that's why it's the optimal place for training. If one really wants to be trained, that this is just the place of training. There's some physical strain and there's some bodily strain and there's some mental strain. We have to learn to cope with it in the right manner. We have to learn to cope with it with the right attitude. Whatever is hit with my words or with my teaching or with my scolding within you, this is the thing that you have to remove. It's not me scolding or it's not me, saying something that I'm the bad person, but it's what you can see, what you can feel inside, what is you, what is bothering you, what creates the anger. This is the very thing that you have to remove. If you remove the sting from your heart that creates this anger, then there will be no anger anymore. But if you feel pushing it down, or swallowing it up, this is not helpful, and sooner or later you will just explode like a pressure pot or pressure cooker. It just takes off the lid, and it explodes. So I do understand your situation. I know it is not easy for you, but you just have to live with it or you just go. These are the 2 options. And I understand, the way that Lumpuli must have felt when he was under the constant observation of Tanaja Mahaboa for 4 years without end. Tanaja Mahaboa wasn't easy on him. So you just can imagine, what it is like. Constantly be observed, constantly be scolded, this is not right, that is not right, do it this way, do it that way. And within the last 2 weeks, and we are here now for 2 weeks, I haven't even had a chance, to talk about Dhamma. All I was talking about the prerequisites before we can even start our practice. It's proper generosity, it's a gratitude, and it's respect that are lacking and that are showing off, and they don't show off so much, in Bantat. But here they show off with every action that you take, with everything that you do. They will show off. That is not proper, that is not proper, and this is. And what is lacking, or what is the attitude. It's our attitude towards these things. Our attitude is wrong. What is our attitude? Our attitude is, I just don't care. That's the attitude. I mean everything what we do. And this is also called a training of mindfulness. We should be clearly aware of what we are doing and why we are doing. That's the attitude. What are we doing and why are we doing it? I mean, I just don't throw a bone, in front of a dog and say, here, have your choice. That is not the right attitude. I mean, we might say in the West, it might be generous, giving a dog something to eat. But our attitude is wrong. Our attitude when we sit for practice, when we walk for Chankro, that is where this wrongness comes in. And I can promise you, this will not be taught in the West. When you go to a meditation center, all what you learn is meditation, properly focus on the right meditation object, or if there is some investigation, how you do investigation. Your attitude is out of the question. It's not even asked for, it's not even trained for. So attitude in doing things properly. Everything what we do, we want to do properly. Even if we light an incense, we have the determination for what this incense is for. Not just, burning it, and because the mosquitoes or the bees are a nuisance, so we just light it. No. We devote everything that we do, to a purpose. So we devote the sense, maybe to the heavenly beings that are around us. Or devote it to our practice, that our practice will smoothly progress. Or something. Not just lighting it, and putting it somewhere, and why are the bees are not gone or the mosquitoes are not gone. And it's the same thing for giving. I mean, I just don't throw things to a monk or to a friend, like we are used to, do in our life when we still live at home. We are invited to a birthday party and we bring a present with him and then tell, over there, I put it over there, you can look for it. I gave you a present, huh? But it's also the attitude of the receiver. I mean, he sees somebody, giving really from the heart, but the value of the present is not much, so he just throws it away. Maybe even in front of that person. But because it doesn't have a value for him. And the value is the value of dollars. Maybe this present has $1 of value, but he sees, somebody else, that looks nice, it has at least $100 of value, so, he's just not interested in receiving the gift. And then he sees, there's 1,000 and he forgets everything. He sees a gift that has a value of $1,000. All what he sees is a value. He doesn't see, the attitude with the people that give it. And he doesn't receive it with a proper attitude. That's what is mostly lacking, It's not only lacking in the West, it is completely, there's hardly anything left in the West, yeah? When we look at it, just look at your life, how you gave presents, how you received presents. You just hold it out, just take it. I'm so cool, just take something, Am I not? I'm just so cool, giving you something, But it also, it is it's still there in some of the form. It is still there here in Thailand. But it's on the vanishing point. People, just don't care. Just don't care anymore. They want to be cooler. They want to be, hold as cool or something like that. So up to this point, even though sometimes I noticed something that was improper, in the act of giving I still received the present. But this morning I suddenly decided no. There was something wrong. In the way, the present was to be given, or the way the present was bought. I mean, there was nothing behind it. So I sensed there was something wrong. I don't know exactly what was wrong. Probably you didn't have any heart in it. There was no heart in you giving me something, so I rejected. I mean, I remember a situation where Tanacha Mahaprabhu, when I came as a layperson, to the Wat, and one time I offered him a bar of chocolate, and he received it. And the next day there was another layperson from the West, who wanted to offer him a chocolate, but he was afraid. So he wanted me to offer the chocolate to Tanacha Mahaprabhu. And I said, no, that just doesn't feel right. So I didn't do it. And I said, it's your chocolate. You want to offer it, just go there, and offer it to him. So finally, he overcome his fear, and he offered it to Tanacha Mahaprabhu, and Tanacha Mahaprabhu didn't receive it. No. And Champagne was sitting by, was sitting close by, so we asked him, why didn't Tanacha Mahaprabhu accept the gift? Huh? Well, you probably didn't put your heart into it. And you only accept gifts, when you put your heart into it. And then he related the story of Ajahn Man, when Tanacha Mahaprabhu, bought something, he received some money, and Tanacha Lumpuman, was smoking a brand of cigarettes. So he asked one of the lay people, to buy him the pack of cigarettes, of his teacher's favorite brand. And when he came back, he got the cigarettes, and he went up to the sala where Lumpuman was sitting with some lay people talking, waited for the proper occasion. And he stopped talking, to offer him the cigarettes. And Lumpuman looked at the cigarettes, no. These cigarettes have many owners. So he didn't accept them. And Lumta Mahaprabhu was completely startled. What does he mean? These cigarettes have, and he was thinking and pondering about it, and then finally, he asked the layperson, I gave you some money, did you buy the cigarettes with my money? And the layperson said, no, I received some money from him, and some money from him, some money from him, and some money from you, and I had a list, what to shop, so I just got it. And at the last item, the leftover money, I bought the cigarette. That's it. So Tanacha Mahaprabhu went to each of the monks who get the lay people, some money, and then and then asked for the permission to give these cigarettes to Tanacha Mahaprabhu. After he asked everybody, who contributed some money, then he went again to Tanacha Man and, offered the cigarettes, and then without any question, Tanacha Man took it. I just relate you these stories, to see how our attitude is when we are presenting certain things. Do we give it from our heart? I mean, if we do not give it from our heart, if we do not give it out of 3 reasons, out of the reason of generosity, I just want to give, I just want to share something of my wealth with you. That is proper attitude. Or if you give it, out of respect, like Tanaja Mahaboa gave the secrets out of respect to his teacher. That is proper attitude. And if you give it out of gratitude, then it is this proper attitude. But everything, if you feel, maybe, just in our lax attitude, or we feel guilty, maybe we should give something, That is not proper attitude. So everything what we do here should have the proper attitude. When we walk Chongkrom, we should have the proper attitude. Now I want just to infuse my calm, or I want to consolidate my calm. So I just want to stay on Buddha before I even start doing the walking meditation. And then each time I turn around, that's why we shouldn't run out in circles. Each time I turn around, I reinforce my attitude. I'm there, to keep on my Buddha. Okay? And then I turn around. I'm there to keep on my Buddha and turn around. I'm not there, to think about this or think about that or to investigate that. I just keep on the subject. And it's the same thing for sitting. When we sit down, we should sit down with a proper attitude. Now I want to meditate, This is my meditation object. So be it the breath, or be it the word Buddha, or be it some sort of investigation. Investigation of the pain, or investigation of other things. Investigation of this body. Then just let be this the object of investigation, and remind ourselves the moment we got distracted, what is my meditation object? Or it's calm, or it is investigation of the body, or it's investigation of the hair, of the outer parts of the body, or inner parts of the body. I understand this, because I was brought up in the West just like you. And our attitude, and my attitude was just the same thing. Nobody ever picked on it. Nobody even, considered, to be worthwhile, to be taught. What's the problem? We want to get results, so we jump into a meditation course, we sit straight on our pillow, and we just do Buddha, 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 or just observing the breath, or observing whatever comes in. And the rest is just, What's the use of it, We don't even think about it. Also I pay for my course, so I expect it, So the meditation teacher in the meditation center, is just, more or less on an equal level. Like we are used to do in school as well, Maybe when we were little kids, we were afraid of the teacher, but then later on, when we grew up, 15, 16, we didn't have respect for our teachers anymore. We threw, we made all sorts of things. And that, includes me, myself, I was doing the same thing. University, the same thing, which was really equal, So, now when we learn meditation in the West, we learn it with the wrong attitude. We learn it for some purpose, And the attitude doesn't come by itself. We start on with the wrong foot, all our life we end up on the wrong foot. If there is not somebody, who corrects this attitude. And that happened to me, And just the same thing happened to me. Oh, yeah. I want to practice, I want to do sitting meditation or walking meditation, that's it. I don't like to work. So when you're in a meditation center, of course, then you have this chance, just to sit and to walk. And then I went, after that, I went to a monastery. And I worked all the time, I didn't even have any time, or there was very little time where I had for my practice. What are they doing, You're supposed to sit, You're supposed to practice. So my karma was, that work doesn't belong to meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is not only sitting and walking Chongkron. But this I didn't believe, because my attitude was wrong. So and then I went to Germany to a meditation center, and there we sold the Dhamma. I thought, that's wrong. Yeah. So I had to work all the time, probably paying off my bad karma that I have made in the past. And then I finally remembered, that I actually wanted to go. But I was afraid, to go into the cave of the tiger. And the cave of the tiger was Sanatana Mahaprabhu, his wife. I knew it for 3 years, that I had to go there. I just avoided it with this excuse and with that excuse. So when I went there, I actually found it very interesting. It wasn't that frightening like the people all told me. And there was ample of time, for practice. Most of the day, was there for practice. It was just a few hours. Not even one, sometimes not even 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours a day where there was some work. And when you're a monk, you have more work to do. You have to take care of your clothes, you have to take care of your bowl, you have to take care of your washing, and you have to take care of the sala. So there was a little bit more work. But the stress was on the right attitude. Yeah? Make it as mindful as possible, make it as fast as possible, and as quiet as possible. And only after years staying in this monastery, and now seeing you, and I see, there's a difference. And this difference, it just came up, maybe today or maybe yesterday, it just came up that it's a difference of the wrong attitude that we have when we start our practice. And that's why I want to give you, or I want to share this with you. That whatever that you do, that you have the right attitude. Being it in respect, respecting the teacher, having the right attitude. Not just, bouncing one's head on the floor. That is not right attitude. It looks like from the outside, that one has respect, but it's not the right attitude of respect. Or giving something. Hey, here, you got something, I mean, it's not the right attitude. Or it wasn't the right intention, We bought it in the first place. The intention that comes with the package. The intention we buy it, comes with the package. And if one is as insightful as Lumpu Man or Thanachan Man, then he sees, the outside of the package. Now that is not proper. This packet of cigarette has, many owners. How does he know? How does he know? He wasn't there in the process of buying. He didn't even knew, how Tanaja Mahaprabhu got the cigarette. How did he know? It's interesting, isn't it? There are certain things that we can sense. And just in the last months, I sensed something, sometimes I thought, after accepting a gift, maybe I shouldn't have taken it. Maybe, I sensed something was wrong. But I didn't understand, what was wrong. And I still don't understand what was wrong. But I just had the feeling. Something wasn't right with this. Yeah. So not that the gift was right. But probably was the attitude the person gave it with. Here, here I'm a rich guy, you're a poor guy, I let you have a share in my wealth, huh? That's wrong attitude. And give it because it makes joy. Then it's proper attitude. Give it because it makes joy, just to think about something. What can I buy for him? I want to make him a joy. And that is the proper attitude. Or, I really respect him, I want to give something to him. Or I feel really grateful for what he's doing. I want to give something for him. That's our proper attitude. And if you buy it with this intention, and if you give it with this intention, I doubt that I have any means, to reject it. So, and that is what it makes it so difficult for you. And I really can feel it, I can feel it, how the pressure is going to build up within you. Because I constantly scold at these wrong attitudes. Constantly, why are you doing this? How are you doing this? This is not proper. Huh? Like if, for instance, I said I didn't want any water and you dumped me 3 bottles of water. I mean, your intention probably was, I don't know what it was. Huh? But think about it, yeah? Before you do something, think if it is proper, yeah? If I said, I don't, today I don't need any water. But that also means, if you can develop, if you get this wrong attitude and change it into a right attitude, that also means that our practice is going on. I mean, there is not so much hindrance in our practice. Our practice will develop very smoothly. It's all of our, careless or cool attitude that we just do things wrong, and we do that wrong also in meditation. With our careless attitude, we do not pay enough attention to the Buddha or to the breath or to the object of investigation. With our cool attitude, see how cool I am, we got our meditation wrong as well. And if we train ourselves, to do the little things that we have to do while we're here in this place, while we're here in this environment, properly, these attitudes will also come into your practice and help you. Taking more care of your Buddha, feeling grateful that the Buddha is there, or feeling respect for the Lord Buddha, that has given us this teaching. Without we would be lost. I mean, all these things can help, and all these things establish our mindfulness. And that's what we should use it for. And if you remember what I said about mindfulness, I think it was the first talk I gave, that mindfulness is so important. It's such an importance that the Lord Buddha put on it, that he said, a person, with mindfulness 24 hours a day can reach enlightenment. I mean, full enlightenment after these 7 days. Isn't that fantastic? And for people who don't have enough mindfulness, it takes 7 weeks or 7 years, or 7 months, 7 years, or 7 lifetimes, depending on the degree of our mindfulness.
Most people.
I mean, whatever. Just look at this importance factor of mindfulness. And how can we, if we see it, how can we be unmindful if we do something? If we light on incense, how can we be unmindful? If we bring back and wash the glasses, how can we be unmindful? If we are boiling the kettle, how can we be unmindful then? You always keep this aspect, being mindful all the time, whatever you do. Even if you sit on your toilet and shit, be mindful. When you flush the toilet, be mindful. Be mindful of the odor that you don't want to smell. Oh, today it stinks really. See the reaction. That means being mindful, see the reaction. I said, and immediately corrected, said, that was the food, I'd love to eat yesterday. Now I don't like it, just because it comes out at the other end of the body. I stuffed it into one end, and it comes out at the other end, and then I start not liking it, huh? Something must be wrong with my view. That is where my mindfulness and wisdom catches in. Immediately, evaluation of our reaction. Or unwholesome. Oh, this stinks, huh? Immediately evaluate, immediately investigate this reaction, what's happening, what? Yesterday that was delicious food, and today, I can't stand the sight of it anymore. There's some problem. There's some problem with my meditation, or there's some problem with my views, huh? And correct it immediately. But if you are not mindful and you just turn ahead your nose, and go out, flush it, probably with eyes closed. Like, go away, go away, go away, All these unpleasant things, go away, go away, go away, Bees go away, mosquitoes go away. I want to get to my meditation, Cannot work this way. Sorry, but you cannot work this way. Everything what we do from the moment we climb up the hill is practice. When we go down and eat, it's practice. Everything, the moment we open our eyes, it is practice of mindfulness. When we sit, or walk, tronkom, then we do practice. But the rest, in between is mindfulness. As I told you this morning, when I was doing yesterday the long stretch, I was mindful of these 14 or 16 hours. I was mindful of one point only. Of one point, these 16 hours, mindful of one point only. After 4 or 5 hours, this point, became clearer so that I could catch it. And then for the next 5 hours, I stick my attention to this point to see what it is. And then, 4 hours again, to see it opening up, to see it unfold itself. Until I get an inkling, until it became much clearer what it was. And that it is not what I assumed all the time. That's why I said, it was like a heavy rain, that washes off the dust of the leaves. But still, it's still unclear. It doesn't become clear in a moment. It's not yet, I'm just looking now at the fresh color of the leaves and the smell of the leaves, if you want to compare it. Still not understanding what actually has happened. And not trying to make any wrong assumptions, because for the last 7 years I was constantly fooled by this wrong assumption. Thinking this, this glass splinter, in the sand, that's it, And each time, I noticed, the kilesas just fooled me. It was valueless glass. No important at all. But the kilesas put their attention, see, this sprinkles, this must be it. And so for 7 years they fooled me. Constantly I always put my attention on something else. Constantly diverted my attention from the real thing to something else that is completely valueless. Learning it the hard way. I just have to learn it the hard way. It seems so. I don't have it easy. So I have to learn it the hard way, seeing, this is full, Thinking, in the beginning, now I made a really progress, and after months realizing It wasn't a progress at all. It was actually a regress. They fooled me again. See how clever they are? They fooled me again. They put me up, boxed me up and sent the parcel off. To nowhere. Once I opened the parcel, I found myself back in nowhere. So I had to restart my practice. Constantly putting our attention, that is the power of the kilesas. Putting our attention from the main focus, and putting it maybe just a little bit off. Putting it onto an unimportant subject, then we see, this is it. That's really it. That must be it. Until we realize we are fooled again. That doesn't happen that normally doesn't happen when we're doing samatha meditation, but it mostly happens when we do investigation. So now taking this example of this 16-hour stretch of meditation, if you concentrate, for the first 5 hours on one object of the body, be it outer object or be it an inner object, it starts to crystallize a little bit. Then you put even more concentration for the next 5 hours on it. Then it starts to become a little bit more clear. You start getting a visual image. And in the next 4 hours it will reveal itself, more or less. But are you able to put 14 hours of concentration on just one object, to reveal itself? We are constantly diverted, and that is the power of the kilesas, that constantly divert our attention to something else. And if it's not a physical thing, where we are most prone to, our back hurts, our leg hurts, this is too much, I'm tired, I should go to sleep, And that's easy, It's actually, when you compare this fight, compare it to a fight, when you fight the army, then the first thing they send you are the soldiers they buy somewhere, the cheap soldiers, If they can scare you away with the cheap soldiers, they're not really in it. They don't use their trained soldiers, the foot soldiers or the horse soldiers or whatever. If they can scare you away with this crap, why should they use their power? So you don't even see the power. Then after a while, you're smart enough, to see, and fight these how do you call these bought mercenaries? If you can fight the mercenaries, then you suddenly get into contact with the real army of Avijja. With greed and hate, with the real foot soldiers, with the trained soldiers. But that is not the elite, not yet, And then it takes a long, long time, And then in the end, once you're skilled enough to battle these, then you're trained with the elite soldiers. And then you have to fight with the elite soldiers, and they are way beyond our imagination. They're extremely skilled in all types of battles. All what you have learned before, you just can forget it. Because they outmatch you. Not in numbers, but in cleverness and skills and in experience. Because they have been there, for all your lives. And it's not only one life, it is millions or billions of lives. They have been trained by you. And now you have to battle them. Until you can battle them, and then you are with the power that is behind all these soldiers. With the general lieutenant, or lieutenant general, the commander-in-chief. And that is what Avijja. And he's of course smarter than his elite soldiers. So he tricks you. Until you see that you're tricked. And for a stupid person like me, it takes more than 7 years. Maybe it takes 70 years, before I get through the tricks. I don't know how long it takes. I just see, each time, he just tricks me away. It just lets me fall into a trap that I don't know. just for you to warn you. And also, to encourage you, to do your practice of mindfulness when you're not doing formal sitting meditation. And if you do formal sitting meditation, have the right attitude towards your meditation. I mean, I tell you this from my own experience, that it was difficult to learn, and where I learned the right attitude was actually when I came to Bangkok. That was the first place, that required this right attitude in any kind of action. And Dhamma Mahaprabhu was teaching. Before I didn't think, I said, this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. Until I found out when I came to Pantat, this matters, everything matters. There's nothing that doesn't matter. Everything matters. Everything, whatever we do, matters. It matters how we do it and what kind of attitude we have towards it. That is what it matters. Not just let's get over with it. This is the wrong attitude. Just let's get over with our sitting meditation. Now I do 1 hour of sitting meditation. Just let's get over with it. No, that is the wrong attitude. So, I do understand from where you are coming from, because I came from the same place. I came with the same wrong attitude, just like you are. And you're just unlucky that you meet me. Because I just pointed out to you. And that, of course, in the beginning it's not easy to take. So I don't mind, if you can't stand the pressure anymore, if you go. Right? But if you can stand the pressure and investigate the pressure point within your heart where it pressures on, and remove that thorn from your heart, then you won't feel the pressure anymore. That, of course, would be extremely helpful for your practice. But I really do understand, it's not easy to live with me. I do seem to have a pretty clear sight of what is going on. But I haven't developed that only, in just these 18 years or 20 years of meditation. I had that before. And some of my friends, were awfully taken by this. I know when I was living in the States, studying in the States, we shared a house together, 4 people, 4 roommates. So, and we had only 1 air conditioner, and suddenly it was getting really hot. And the air conditioner was broken off. If some people, were fiddling with it, around with it. So I fixed it. Normally I fix it, and then I told everyone, don't dare, just let it run now. Not just let it run. Don't fiddle around with it. And then I came back from my classes, and the air conditioner didn't work. So I put it, I opened it up, fixed it again, and I knew instantly that somebody was fiddling around with it. And then in the evening when we met all together, I told him, why did you fiddle with the air conditioner? Boy, he was scared. Oh, no, I didn't do that. I mean, only a few weeks later, or a few weeks or even months later, he told me that it was. I just picked him out, It could have been any. I just picked him out, Why did you, The others, I wasn't interested. So it can be, I understand, it's not easy, It can be quite scary. And it can build up a lot of pressure. So I don't mind, if you just leave. I can't take it anymore. It's fine. So, and with this, I close the talk.